Your mind is a battlefield, and only you can control it, not the world, not other people, not circumstances. Every single day, unseen wars are fought within you. Fear looks for dominance, anger looks for release, doubt looks for permission. If you do not take command of this battlefield, something else will. And whatever controls your mind will eventually control your life. Stoicism begins with a hard truth most people avoid. Peace does not come from fixing the world. It comes from governing yourself. The world will remain unpredictable. People will disappoint you. Life will apply pressure without warning. Waiting for external order is a silent form of weakness. The Stoic refuses this weakness and builds order internally, where real power exists. Your body is your temple, and it must be guarded with discipline and respect. It is not designed only for comfort or pleasure. It is the vessel through which your will moves in the world. A neglected body weakens focus, shortens patience, and destabilizes emotion. A disciplined body strengthens the mind and prepares you to endure difficulty without collapse. In the heart must be trained, not hardened. An unguarded heart becomes fragile and reactive. A closed heart becomes bitter and disconnected. Stoicism teaches emotional strength without emotional slavery. A heart that can love, endure loss, and remain whole. This video is not entertainment. It is reconstruction. If you stay until the end, these 6 brutal Stoic rules will rebuild how you think under pressure, how you discipline your body, and how you guard your inner life. Subscribe to the Inner Fortress. This channel is for those who choose discipline over distraction, strength over excuses, and mastery over chaos. Like the video. Share it with someone rebuilding silently. Now listen carefully. Guard your mind with ruthless discipline and deny entry to destructive thoughts. Rule your body with structure until discipline becomes identity. Detach from pleasure before comfort weakens your spirit. Embrace hardship as training for strength and endurance. Choose character over comfort in every defining moment. Love deeply without attachment and let go without collapse. Guard your mind with ruthless discipline and deny entry to destructive thoughts. The Stoics understood something most people never learn. Your life is shaped less by events and more by how you interpret them. Most suffering is not caused by reality itself, but by unexamined thoughts reacting to reality. A mind without discipline becomes an open gate where fear, resentment, envy, and anxiety enter freely. Your mind must be guarded like a fortress. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every emotion deserves obedience. Stoicism does not teach emotional suppression, it teaches emotional authority. You observe thoughts as they arise, but you decide which ones are allowed to stay. Many destructive thoughts disguise themselves as truth. Fear pretends to be caution. Doubt pretends to be realism. Self-pity pretends to be honesty. Stoicism strips away these disguises and demands one question: is this thought strengthening me or weakening me? If it weakens you, it has no place in your mind. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts are events, not commands. They appear, shift, and disappear. When you identify with every thought, you lose control. When you observe without attachment, clarity returns. This single practice reduces anxiety more effectively than distraction ever could. The untrained mind lives in the past and future. Regret replays what cannot be changed. Anxiety rehearses what may never happen. The Stoic anchors himself in the present, because action only exists here. Living mentally elsewhere drains strength and creates helplessness. Anger is another intruder that requires discipline. Anger feels powerful, but it blinds judgment and shortens vision. The Stoic allows anger to arise but refuses to act under its influence. Delayed response is strength. Immediate reaction is weakness disguised as honesty. External noise weakens the mind. Constant exposure to outrage, comparison, and stimulation erodes inner stability. The Stoic is selective about what he consumes. What you repeatedly watch, read, and listen to becomes your inner voice. Guard it carefully. Seeking approval is one of the fastest ways to lose mental sovereignty. Praise inflates the ego, criticism collapses it. The Stoic measures himself by character and conduct, not applause or rejection. Opinions are unstable, principles are not. Acceptance of reality is essential to mental discipline. Arguing with what has already happened keeps wounds open. The Stoic does not waste energy wishing events were different. He asks what must be done now. Acceptance does not mean agreement. It means clarity. You cannot prevent difficult thoughts from appearing, but you can prevent them from settling. Mental strength is not the absence of darkness, but the refusal to live inside it. Over time, guarding the mind produces calm authority. Emotional reactions slow. Decisions sharpen. You become harder to provoke and harder to manipulate. Life does not become easier, but you become steadier. This is the first rebuilding. Without a disciplined mind, strength in the body and balance in the heart cannot last. Secure the mind, and everything else gains a foundation. To rule your body with structure until discipline becomes identity. The Stoics never separated the body from the mind. They understood that a weak body eventually weakens judgment, patience, and emotional control. You cannot expect clarity from a body trained only for comfort. When the body is neglected, the mind becomes reactive. Fatigue lowers discipline, excess dulls awareness. Disorder in the body always finds its way into the mind. Your body is your temple, and guarding it is not about appearance or vanity. It is about reliability. A disciplined body obeys when called upon. It endures discomfort without panic and pressure without collapse. An undisciplined body negotiates constantly. It seeks shortcuts, excuses, and relief. Strength is not cosmetic, it is functional. Structure is what transforms good intentions into consistent action. Motivation is unstable. It rises and falls with mood and circumstance. Structure remains when motivation disappears. Fixed waking times, deliberate movement, controlled eating, and intentional rest remove daily negotiation with yourself. When structure exists, discipline becomes automatic. The modern world worships convenience. Friction is treated as a problem to eliminate, but friction is the training ground of strength. Muscles weaken without resistance. Willpower erodes without challenge. The Stoic reintroduces resistance deliberately, not to suffer, but to remain capable. Physical training teaches lessons philosophy alone cannot. It teaches patience, humility, and endurance. You cannot argue with effort. The body gives honest feedback. Avoiding that feedback delays growth and breeds illusion. The Stoic values truth over comfort. Voluntary discomfort was a Stoic practice for a reason. Cold, hunger, fatigue, and exertion, experienced intentionally, teach the nervous system that discomfort is survivable. When hardship arrives unexpectedly, it no longer shocks the system. The body has already learned endurance. Posture, breath, and movement directly influence emotional regulation. Slouched posture signals defeat. Shallow breathing signals threat. Upright posture and controlled breathing signal stability and control. These are not symbolic gestures. They are physiological signals that shape emotional response. Discipline of the body also builds self-trust. Every time you follow through on a commitment, your identity shifts. You begin to see yourself as reliable. This confidence is quiet but powerful. It changes how you speak, how you decide, and how you tolerate disrespect. Pain in training is honest pain. It strengthens capacity. Pain from neglect is dishonest pain. It accumulates silently and demands payment later through weakness, anxiety, and regret. The Stoic chooses honest pain. Rest is also discipline. Overindulgence weakens the body, but neglecting recovery does the same. The Stoic respects balance. He trains with intention and recovers with care. Discipline is not cruelty, it is stewardship. Food is fuel, not therapy. Eating to soothe emotion weakens control. The Stoic eats to support strength, clarity, and endurance. Appetite obeys reason, not impulse. This alone stabilizes energy and mood. When discipline becomes identity, effort stops feeling heroic. It becomes normal. You no longer debate whether to train, eat well, or rest properly. These actions express who you are. This is the second rebuilding. Without a disciplined body, mental clarity collapses under prolonged pressure. Stoicism demands alignment. When the body obeys the will, the mind gains authority. 3. Detach from pleasure before comfort weakens your spirit. Pleasure is not the enemy of a meaningful life. Dependence as Stoicism does not reject enjoyment, but it refuses slavery to desire. Most people believe they are free, yet their moods, choices, and behavior are quietly dictated by cravings. Comfort, stimulation, validation, and escape shape their days more than principle ever does. Pleasure becomes dangerous not through excess alone, but through necessity. When you need comfort to function, resilience disappears. When you require stimulation to feel alive, stillness becomes threatening. The Stoic recognizes this dependency early and dismantles it deliberately. Modern life conditions avoidance of discomfort. Silence feels awkward. Boredom feels unbearable. Waiting feels intolerable. These reactions reveal how deeply pleasure has trained the nervous system. The Stoic reclaims stillness and uses it to regain clarity. Detachment begins with restraint, saying no when indulgence is available, pausing before gratification, delaying pleasure intentionally. These acts strengthen the will. They teach the mind that desire does not command obedience. Pleasure that is earned carries less danger than pleasure consumed automatically. The Stoic enjoys reward without clinging to it. He understands that pleasure is temporary by nature. Attempting to hold it creates anxiety. Allowing it to pass creates peace. Many people confuse happiness with stimulation. They chase intensity instead of depth. Emotional highs feel exciting, but they destabilize. The Stoic chooses depth. Calm satisfaction outlasts emotional peaks. Stability replaces volatility. Social approval is one of the most addictive pleasures. Praise inflates the ego. Criticism collapses it. The Stoic steps outside this cycle. He values respect, but he does not depend on applause. His worth is measured by conduct, not reaction. Emotional drama can also become addictive. Chaos masquerades as passion. Conflict masquerades as intensity. The Stoic chooses emotional steadiness. He prefers peace to excitement and clarity to noise. Detachment also applies to success. When success becomes identity, fear of loss follows. The Stoic works diligently but releases attachment to outcomes. He commits to effort and allows results to come and go. Comfort weakens when it becomes constant. A life without friction produces fragility. The Stoic reintroduces friction intentionally through effort, restraint, discipline, and silence. These restore strength that comfort quietly erodes. Detachment does not mean emptiness. It means sovereignty. You enjoy fully without fear. You lose without collapse. You remain steady regardless of circumstance. This rule rebuilds the spirit by restoring authority over impulse. Desire no longer dictates direction. Comfort no longer controls character. This is the third rebuilding. Without freedom from pleasure's grip, discipline in mind and body eventually dissolves. When desire obeys reason, inner strength stands upright. 4. Embrace hardship as training for strength and endurance. Pain is unavoidable. What gives pain its power is not the sensation itself, but the meaning you assign to it. Most people experience hardship and immediately interpret it as punishment, injustice, or proof that life is against them. The Stoic rejects this interpretation. He understands that hardship is not an enemy. It is training. Comfort hides weakness. Difficulty reveals it when pressure is applied, excuses disappear and character becomes visible. The Stoic does not resent this exposure. He welcomes it. What is revealed can be strengthened. What is avoided remains fragile. This is why Stoicism never promises ease, it promises resilience. Hardship becomes destructive only when it is resisted mentally. Complaining prolongs pain. Resentment multiplies it. Acceptance shortens suffering. Acceptance does not mean approval. It means seeing reality clearly and working with it instead of exhausting yourself fighting what already exists. The Stoic asks different questions in difficult moments. Not, why is this happening to me? But, what is this training in me? This shift redirects energy from frustration to growth. The same hardship that breaks one person becomes refinement for another. Modern culture treats discomfort as a problem to eliminate. Every inconvenience is framed as failure. This mindset produces fragility. The Stoic understands that discomfort is necessary. Muscles grow under strain. Patience grows under delay. Courage grows under fear. Hardship trains patience. When outcomes do not arrive quickly, impatience exposes immaturity. The Stoic learns to endure delay without agitation. This quiet endurance compounds over time into strength that cannot be rushed or faked. Hardship also trains humility. It reminds you that control is limited and effort is required. The Stoic does not take difficulty personally. He does not see hardship as injustice. He sees it as part of the human condition. Fear often magnifies pain. The Stoic separates what is painful from what is terrifying. Pain can be endured. Terror is usually imagined. When fear is faced directly, much of its power dissolves. Endurance does not mean ignoring pain. It means refusing to let pain define identity. You experience difficulty without becoming bitter. You suffer without collapsing into self-pity. This preserves dignity even in struggle. Loss is also hardship. Relationships end. Opportunities vanish. Plans fail. The Stoic grieves without surrendering to despair. He allows sorrow, but he does not allow it to hollow him out. Loss refines perspective and strengthens emotional endurance. When hardship is embraced as training, life stops feeling hostile. Challenges become instruction. Discomfort becomes preparation. You stop asking for an easy path and start building the strength to walk difficult ones. This rule rebuilds the mind by eliminating victimhood. It rebuilds the body by increasing tolerance. It rebuilds the heart by strengthening endurance. Strength is not the absence of pain. It is the ability to remain upright within it. The Stoic does not ask for an easy life. He asks for the strength to endure a demanding one. 5. Choose character over comfort in every defining moment. Every life is shaped by decisions made when no one is watching. Not the dramatic moments, but the quiet ones. The moments where comfort tempts you to compromise, where convenience whispers that principles can wait. The Stoic understands that character is built here. Comfort is seductive because it feels harmless. One excuse seems justified, one compromise seems small, but character erodes gradually, not suddenly. The Stoic watches these small moments carefully, because they determine the direction of a life. Choosing character over comfort often feels lonely. It costs approval, it costs ease, it costs shortcuts, but it builds something rare and unshakable: self-respect. Self-respect is not given by others. It is earned through alignment between values and action. The Stoic asks himself difficult questions. Is this choice strengthening me or softening me? Am I acting from principle or from fear? Would I respect this decision if no one ever knew about it? These questions destroy rationalization. Comfort avoids friction. Character accepts it. Growth requires resistance. Saying no when it would be easier to say yes. Acting honestly when deception would be more convenient. Remaining disciplined when there is no audience. Integrity is tested in private. Public morality is easy. Private consistency is rare. The Stoic values the unseen decision more than the applauded one. This is how inner authority is built. Before we continue, if this principle resonates with you, subscribe to the Inner Fortress. This channel exists for those who choose long-term strength over short-term comfort. Like the video and share it with someone walking a difficult path. Comfort promises relief now, character promises stability later. The Stoic chooses later. He understands that peace built on compromise is fragile, while peace built on principle endures. Choosing character also means accepting consequences. Doing the right thing does not guarantee reward. It guarantees alignment. The Stoic is prepared for discomfort that follows integrity. He does not regret it. This rule applies to work, health, relationships, and discipline. Every domain presents moments where comfort and character diverge. The Stoic trains himself to recognize these moments and choose deliberately. Failure does not erase character. Repeated compromise does. The Stoic forgives mistakes but corrects patterns. He does not allow one lapse to become identity. Over time, choosing character becomes easier. Discipline compounds. Integrity becomes instinct. You no longer negotiate with yourself at every turn. You simply act according to who you have decided to be. This rule rebuilds the mind by sharpening judgment. It rebuilds the body by reinforcing discipline. It rebuilds the heart by aligning values with action. Comfort fades. Applause fades. Character remains. When pressure arrives, character answers for you. This is the fifth rebuilding. 6. Love deeply without attachment and let go without collapse. Love is not weakness. Attachment is Stoicism does not ask you to close your heart. It asks you to guard it with wisdom. Most people do not suffer because they love too much, but because they cling without understanding impermanence. They attach their identity, peace, and sense of meaning to people who, by nature, cannot be controlled. The Stoic loves fully while remembering that everything external is temporary. People change, relationships end, loss arrives without warning. This awareness is not pessimism. It is preparation. When you accept impermanence, love becomes deeper, not weaker. You stop trying to possess what was never yours to own. An attached heart fears loss constantly. Fear turns love into control. Control suffocates connection. The Stoic breaks this cycle by loving without ownership. He gives affection freely but does not demand permanence. He appreciates presence without panicking over absence. Letting go does not mean indifference. It means refusing to collapse when change occurs. The Stoic allows grief without becoming consumed by it. He experiences sorrow without surrendering dignity. Pain is felt, but identity remains intact. Many people confuse emotional intensity with connection. Drama feels like depth, chaos feels like passion. The Stoic seeks steadiness. A calm bond outlasts an intense one. Stability preserves love better than obsession ever could. This rule also applies to expectations. Expecting others to fill emotional gaps creates resentment. The Stoic takes responsibility for his inner state. He does not outsource peace to another person. Love becomes contribution, not dependence. Detachment allows clarity. You see people as they are, not as you wish them to be. This reduces disappointment and deepens respect. You stop demanding perfection and start appreciating presence. When love ends, the Stoic does not erase the past or harden the heart. He integrates the experience. Gratitude replaces bitterness. Memory replaces regret. Loss becomes part of growth rather than proof of failure. This rule rebuilds the heart by restoring emotional sovereignty. You can love deeply without fear. You can lose without collapse. You remain whole regardless of who stays or leaves. This is the final rebuilding. Without emotional mastery, strength in mind and body remains incomplete. These 6 brutal Stoic rules are not motivational phrases. They are disciplines. They rebuild the mind by restoring control. They rebuild the body by enforcing structure. They rebuild the heart by replacing attachment with strength. Stoicism does not promise happiness. It promises stability. It does not remove pain. It prepares you to endure it without losing yourself. This is not a philosophy for comfort. It is a philosophy for strength. If you apply these principles consistently, you will think more clearly under pressure. You will move with discipline instead of impulse. You will love without fear and let go without breaking. The world will remain unpredictable. People will remain imperfect. Life will remain demanding, but you will no longer be easily shaken. If this message spoke to you, subscribe to the Inner Fortress. This channel is for those rebuilding silently, choosing discipline over distraction and strength over excuses. Like the video, share it with someone who needs this reminder. Remember this: you do not need the world to change for you to become strong. You only need to take command of yourself. Stand firm, stay disciplined, build your inner fortress.